Hi, this is Dr. Quinn Denny. Last time I did an audio post based on fear, and this time reflecting more on the inner workings of courage. And this is another reflection as I continue to delve deeper into the concept and wrestle with my own courage, or maybe better stated, my own fear. My hope in this audio post is that in sharing, you too will be inspired to develop courage, reflect on it, pursue it, not just for you, but for all those who can benefit from your untapped courage. As with most psychological constructs or concepts, there is investigation into whether courage is trait-based or state-based. This is that nature versus nurture argument. Is courage static or dynamic? Is it something we can develop? Are some more genetically inclined to courage? And these are substantive inquiries. Yet what I think is more impactful is what we believe the answers to these questions to be. If we believe that some are courageous by nature and that their nature allows them to be courageous, then we have a tendency to place, quote, courageous in a class of their own. And thinking in this way, those people are courageous. That isn't my nature. They're different, leads us to think, so maybe they are in a class of their own. But you know what? I don't think so. The only validity I see to this kind of external classification of courage is those that are behaving courageously and those that aren't behaving courageously. We see the outcomes of courage. It is whatever we value as success and then attribute that success almost as if it's the courage itself. However, what about courage representing failed outcomes? Certainly, these instances are not often applauded. The place we see them valued mostly, I think, is in combat. In the world of sports, business, and more common everyday experiences, I see them framed by others with phrases like, oh, she or he should have done this, or everyone knows that doesn't work. They should have tried harder. And that was just stupid. What were they thinking? But if that same person or person succeeded, it would be heralded as courage. Is courage an outcome? No. Theodore Roosevelt touched on this when he referenced the person that strives valiantly and comes short again and again. He was referencing not the outcome of one's attempts or the opinions of others, but the state of acting courageously. It's the act of courage itself which is of true value, and inner working inside the person, not the visible. The term in research is psychological courage, which I think applies to every instance of courage, whether it's moral, physical, or social courage. In my dissertation, I examined cognitive appraisal, positive psychological capital, and willingness to act courageously in the workplace. Simply, if people frame risk in a way that motivates them to engage that risk for benefit, are they more willing to act on that framing to externally validate it or show that courage? No doubt courage is to act, whether it looks like engagement or restraint, gaining or letting go. To be courageous is to do something in response to inner fear, perceived risk, and potential benefits like justice or the helping of others. So as Theodore Roosevelt was stating, courage is knowing victory and defeat. But most importantly, the outcome, victory or defeat, has no bearing on the quality of courage. Courage happens inside us first and is then seen or verified externally. Courage already happened whether people applaud or criticize, whether we meet our objective or end up with a nasty road rash. In my research, the data analytics suggest that those with strong hope were more likely to act courageously even in high-risk perceptions. And as I ingest additional research and bestsellers, I think courage is a battle within ourselves, with ourselves. We are the opponent, not out there, but in here. And the best way I can describe this is the experience I had when I was competing and training heavily in Taekwondo. There are two mindsets I tended to have when training. One was focused on the outcome. The first was to focus on the result of a sparring match. Trophies and medals equals success. The other, the second one, was to focus on mastery of myself, control over my body, fighting against myself, increasing my skill, breaking my current limits. And I found that matches focused on trophies and medals felt out of control, and my emotions were based on winning or losing. And the second was centered and motivating, where I actually ultimately did my best. The matches were a way to gauge my progress. They're a lab for study, where the ultimate goal was to return to training with new insight. It was training and improving that mattered, winning against myself. With the first method focused on winning and losing, I was always more fearful and less focused. And with the second, I was fearless because I had already faced myself in training. I was centered. As soon as I became focused on medals and trophies, I became decentered. I think the key takeaway here in this reflection is, I'm asking myself this as well, what are you afraid of within yourself? Why? What are the opponents in here that need a good comeuppance? What are the external outcomes that for some reason I have given the permission to incorrectly validate or invalidate my courage? We're not courageous because we fail or succeed. We're courageous because we do.